Hey there, plant people. David here. Today, we're going to be potting up a Paphiopedilum orchid. It's the same one that's right here flowering right now. These Paphiopedilums right here, I recently divided Paphiopedilums that are in one of my terrariums, and these were just extra cuttings that I took out. And you can see they're just bare root right now. There's kind of two pieces. This one has a little bit more of a root, and I can see there's a nice fresh growth coming right here from this side. This one over here is a lot smaller, and there's not much of a root on it, but I'm still thinking it will take, and then we'll see new side shoots coming from the side. And I chose this pot right here. I think it's a good size for this plant right here. I usually prefer plastic pots for Paphiopedilums. So solid pots like this, I don't mean the orchid pots like this that have a lot of holes that you might put a Phalaenopsis in. Just a solid pot like this, I find that Paphiopedilums, their roots like to have a lot more moisture than other kinds of orchids. So you certainly want, a very airy potting medium, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. But it does want to hold on to some moisture, so I tend to like to plant them in a plastic pot like this. And then after it's transplanted, I like to put them in a decorative pot like this. So then you don't see the plastic pot, and this will be more sturdy and a lot more decorative as well. So let's talk about the potting medium. Paphiopedilums, I find, like to have a much wetter medium than many other types of orchids. I don't let them dry out very much between waterings, and I'll often even keep a little bit of water at the bottom of their pot to wick up into the plant and let that dry out between waterings. But I find they like to be a lot more wet than many other types of orchids. So that's why I mentioned a plastic pot is often better for them. And I usually choose a more finer potting media for Paphiopedilums. Traditionally, I've always grown my Paphiopedilums in bark, and I usually like to choose a finer particle size bark, not a big chunky one, because that will dry out too quickly and be a little too airy for them. I usually like to have a finer bark that will help, keep the moisture around the roots, but still be airy. But today, I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I've been wanting to experiment with tree fern fiber with my terrestrial orchids. So today, I'm going to be potting up this Paphiopedilum in tree fern fiber. And here's a closer look of what the tree fern fiber looks like. You can kind of see it's very fibrous. It's a lot finer than orchid bark, so it will hold the moisture a lot better, but it's still very airy. So I think most terrestrial orchids tend to do well in it. So I'm gonna try it out today. First, I'm gonna remove the orchids. Careful with this flower. So I'm gonna put a little bit at the bottom because these roots don't go all the way down. So on this plant here, as you can see, there's this new growth here. Orchids tend to grow new growth in one direction. So this right here was the oldest growth. You can see where the old flower stem was. Then it grew this one, and then it grew this one next. And then when this one's matures, it's most likely to grow in this direction again. So you should take that in mind when you pot orchids like Paphiopedilums. And I want to put the old growth on the outside of the pot because it's much less likely to sprout new growth on this side, and it's most likely to sprout new growth this way. So when you put it at the edge like this, the new growth should be in the middle of the pot, which is more ideal, and you'll be able to keep it in the pot for longer because it won't be growing off to one side. So you basically want to keep where the new growth is right at the surface level. So if any new roots grow out from the base, they're basically right at the soil level. You don't want this too deep, and you also don't want it too high above the soil because the roots will dry out too much before they're able to reach into the soil. And then I just got this single growth here. It's not really clear which side it will grow from. A new growth, although I do see a little bit of a nubbin right here. So I'm thinking actually if a growth comes, it's probably going to be from this side. So I should probably put this toward the outside. Try to be gentle as I can with the roots and try not to snap them. Get that down in there. So I'm just going to finish filling up the pot with the tree fern fiber. And try to get this all around the roots. Making a huge mess. I should have got a tray. I should have gotten a tray apparently. My vacuum's gonna get a little workout today. Alright, so I'm just gonna press gently the tree fern fiber around the roots. I'm trying to get it off the leaves as well. Alright, there we have it. So now I can put the plastic pot into a decorative pot like this, and this soil or this tree fern fiber is very dry, so I'm actually going to soak this entire pot with water overnight. I find that Paphiopedilums can take long waterings like this, no problem at all. So this will help the tree fern fiber absorb a lot of the moisture, and then it will hold on to it for longer and then keep moisture around the roots, which is what Paphiopedilum's like. And it's actually raining right now at the Cactastic household, so we have lots of rainwater to work with. So I'll be watering this Paphiopedilum in with rainwater. And I'm just gonna fill the decorative pot all the way up until I reach the top of the soil level. All right, so now the pot is filled and I'm gonna let this soak overnight. This will give plenty of time for the tree fern fiber to absorb the moisture. And that's it. Tomorrow I'll dump out all the excess water so that this is not sitting in water anymore. And then I'm just gonna move this onto one of my plant shelves and grow it under grow lights. Paphiopedilums like a lot lower light than most other types of orchids, so I'm always sure to choose a more shady location. And you especially want to do that with a freshly transplanted plant because you don't want to shock it. And there you have it. There's a transplanted Paphiopedilum. I can't wait until next year at this time. I'm hoping I have a lot more of these Paphiopedilums blooming. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this type of content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!